All
I
right, you
think I'm
guys. Now we
live.
have to talk
Let's go.
about Turning Point's disastrous women's leadership summit. It was just,
I miss
man, it's
Candace.
just sad to see what this once bright
Let me
organization
guys
has
know in the
become.
comments if you guys
But that
miss it or
was
not.
also trending all over the place. First and foremost, let's just go over some hot moments. The biggest one being, actually, I shouldn't say the biggest one, but one of the peak ones being Erica Kirk getting called a pedophile while she was delivering her speech. She was heckled. Take a listen.
And it's important to remember that happiness comes and goes. It is so fleeting. But the joy of the Lord withstands all.
Erica Kirk protects pedophile! Erica Kirk protects pedophile!
What the fuck?
It's important to remember that
That's wild.
happiness comes and goes. And I pray that you find it.
Okay, and just a correction. I said she got called a pedophile. I meant to say she was. They said that she was protecting pedophiles, and so it's an interesting comeback.
Oh, yeah,
happiness
Candace-
comes and
Candace needs to
goes.
fix that up.
I hope, pray that you find happiness. This is kind of like
She
the
corrected
entire
herself.
new Turning Point grift. It's just so icky. It's there. There's constantly kind of using the Bible as a shield, but kind of doing the well, bless you, honey. Well, I'm gonna pray for you, honey. Where it's like very obvious that there's nothing godly here, and they're actually really angry. And I do want to say this, that if that had happened to me, and might I offer that I also think that if that had happened to Charlie Kirk and someone had heckled him and said that you protect pedophiles, that's a great opportunity to be what Turning Point has always been and say, oh, you have a disagreement? Come to the front of the line. That's the notorious thing that Charlie always said. You have a disagreement, come to the front of the line. I would love to debate you on saying that I protect pedophiles. I can debate that any day of the week, and I want to make sure that you're not just allowed to shout something that's fundamentally untrue. Now, what is that person actually speaking about? Well, they're speaking about these unique partnerships with shady people that have shady pasts. Erica immediately going on tour with the church, Harvest Church, Greg Lowry, as somebody that she was very involved with the faith community, Erica being involved with like the bringing really kind of this whole faith grift to Turning Point USA. A little bit weird when people are saying that they believe that you had something to do with trafficking in Romania, if that's the allegation that's made about Erica Kirk's past, that you would partner with a church that is quite literally being sued for the very same reasons. Now, the lawsuit is not over. Maybe these Romanians are lying about the trafficking that is taking place at the church. I believe Greg Laurie's argument is, well, Paul Havsgaard, or whatever his name is, he was in our church and he did some things in Romania, but it wasn't a broader church conspiracy. Again, every person that Erica seems to be involved with has these sort of shady dealings. And actually someone emailed me and said that Victor Marx said that his like mentor was Greg Laurie. So they're all just kind of connected, all of these shady characters, and people are noticing that. And Erica's never answered for anything. She just has kind of arrived like a queen. Like, I don't have to answer anything. This was my husband's. I'm not qualified for anything. It doesn't matter. I'm taking it and it's mine. People don't like it. They resent it. And it doesn't matter how many Bible verses you spit out, people can see through this grift. Which brings us to Dana Lash, the one who just said you can't go to Russia, and Candace is working with Putin and Dugin. She doesn't care about the truth. It doesn't matter
Somebody
at all.
in here?
But this was the speech that she gave. And like I said, this is the new direction of Turning Point USA. Holier than thou. Take a listen.
I said last year at this very event that men and women, when choosing your spouse, your husband or wife, pick someone that you can go into battle with. And my God in heaven, how this became true just a few months later. So allow me to step out very boldly right now. Exodus 22:22. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them in any way, and they cry out at all to me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath will be hot. Deuteronomy 27:18. Cursed is the one who perverts the justice due, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow.
This lady sounds crazy.
Isaiah 1:17, learn to do good, seek justice, rebuke the oppression, defend the fatherless, plead for the widow.
I agree with all that. Why she look crazy?
22:3, do no wrong and do no violence to a stranger, the fatherless, or the widow.
The widow.
Malachi
The
chapter 3,
widow.
verse 5. I will come to you. I will come near you for judgment. I will be a swift witness against sorcerers and against those who exploit the wage earners and oppress the widow and the fatherless.
Hey, we got one person in here. Who's in here?
1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 3. Honor widows. James chapter 1. Verse 27, pure and
That's the Lord-
undefiled
this is the
religion
Lord of the
before
Rings
God
clip.
and the
The
Father
Queen.
is this, to visit orphans and widows in their trouble. Our Lord God defines himself as a, quote, father to the fatherless and a defender of widows.
Widows. Widows. Widows. The widow. You shall honor the widow. You shall worship the widow. I'm gonna keep telling you, the widow. And you will see we are biblical here. This is it. The whole hand has been revealed. Okay, I am sorry, but the people who are clocking this as a grift, whether they're on the left or on the right, recognizing that this is just a grift. There's no substance behind these words anymore. They just get up there and they just find whatever Bible verse they want and they tell you, this is what it means. This is what it means. People like her are the reason that there has been so much growth in the Catholic and the Orthodox Church, because you can just see it. There's no authenticity here. You're saying Bible, you're saying the Lord, the widow, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like something a lot darker than that, and they've just exposed
angry.
themselves. No one is taking that seriously. She literally sounds like when the Queen, Lord of the Rings, when we showed you that clip, and I will be your queen, that is what Dana sounds like. So she got mocked, it went viral, and again, it is bad for Turning Point's brand because people can see through it. That's the problem. They are so transparent. And of course, this is followed up by the Alex Clark Act, right? So Alex Clark similarly is teaching people to be biblical, right? She was very upset when I pointed out, because I have people who, like I said, work inside Turning Point USA. They were not happy with the numbers of young women who did not want to attend what used to be called the Young Women's Leadership Summit. So you saw this even when they cut to the audience. There's a lot of older women that are there, okay? And that fundamentally changes the substance of what Turning Point USA was all about. We already have an RNC. We already have a CPAC. So what made Turning Point USA different was the fact that they were gathering the youth, they were getting these college students. But since Charlie has passed, Erica can't draw the same crowd. Women don't trust her. We are designed to have a spiritual intuition about people, and our spiritual intuition about Erica Kirk says no. And Alex Clark has sort of deemed herself or elected herself to be Erica's defender, but like lies all the time in an effort to defend Erica, who herself lies all the time. Anyway, she gets on stage and she similarly is going to speak to women about how to be biblical. Take a listen.
What I can tell you and teach you is how to have a God-honoring single season. People do not get married because two perfect people found each other. They get married because two imperfect people love the Lord and they are committed to pursuing holiness together. For years, I thought God was delaying my life.
I don't know if this lady knows what
And
love
looking
is.
back, he kind of was, but not in a negative way. He was preparing me. And if you spend this season becoming the woman that God is calling you to be, then whether marriage comes next year or 10 years from now or not at all, you will not have wasted a single day. Because a life fully surrendered to God is never a life on hold.
Something tells me she's about to say some crazy shit.
Which reminds me, there's one thing I haven't told you guys. I'm engaged!
Beautiful, by the way. Just
I was wrong. I thought she was doing
she
crazy.
really is
Say
a
some
picture
crazy
of a
shit. Well, I
godly,
guess you did.
biblical woman until the very
Congratulations.
next day when the mask slipped, as it has slipped, because these are some of the most fraudulent people that are in the conservative movement. Like I said, she was upset that I accurately reported that
100%.
Turning Point had issues attracting young women to this particular summit this year. There were a lot of older women who attended. Many of their own chapter leaders declined to make the trip, female chapter leaders, because they don't like Erica and they don't like the direction that the organization is taking. And so I had posited that this is why they decided to change the name to the Women's Leadership Summit, even though it had always been for the last 10 years the Young Women's Leadership Summit. And here's what she replied with, basically saying this was already in the works. But it's the bottom of this tweet that I want to highlight here. As for our audience, understanding our audience, I'd worry less about ours and more about the fact that yours seems to consist primarily of leftists hate watching and Russian bots. By the way, how did Putin taste?
This lady's supposed to be godly?
How did Putin taste?
What?
Oh, send your daughters to the Turning Point USA conference. It's so godly. It's so biblical. The widow. The widow. How did Putin taste? Christian. Oh, a Christian fiance. New fiance, by the way. Alex Clark really is a perfect mascot for Turning Point 2.0, better known as Turning Coat USA, reversing virtually every position and value that Charlie had while trying to gaslight the public into believing that this really was Charlie's vision. He just didn't have enough time to execute upon it. She's just an avatar for what the public has grown to hate, the blatant hypocrisy, the dishonesty, purporting that you're a free market capitalist focused organization while making secret phone calls and telling people you shouldn't do ads with Candace, you know, because if you want to work with us, you can't work with Candace. Yeah, that's not free market capitalism. And it's also just the sheer audacity of the lies that they tell repeatedly. An organization that is, for example, filled with closeted gay men and hyper-feminist catty women preaching about family values, using the Bible to shield themselves from any form of criticism. Like I said, that whole bless your heart, honey perspective. It says right here in Paul's letter to the Corinthians that Alex Clark can, I don't know, sexually fetishize world leaders. Everyone at Turning Point is hooking up with one another, and perhaps no one has been more objectively and outwardly disgusting, as you just saw, than Alex Clark. And if I need to remind you, her entire issue with me began when I simply told the truth. That's what they really hate the truth. About the fact that Charlie was attending Catholic Mass, sometimes daily, and that he was changing his mind about Israel. These are facts. She decided to host a podcast to try to present me as a liar. I don't lie because I don't need to, and I'm under no Zionist obligation to portray Charlie like the rest of you are.
Damn right, Candace.
Alex had some sort of an allergic reaction to the truth. She made private phone calls demanding that we get dropped by our sponsor, Paleo Valley. Remember that? She also took personal credit for convincing Trump to tweet insults at me. She tweeted this. This is not true. She can cope harder. Guess who prompted Trump's rant on her the first time? Yours truly in the Oval Office. Taking credit of that. Bible, biblical, godly. Ooh, she's great. And she also, for no reason at all, by the way, went after Aubrey's husband, the one who used to work for Andrew Colbert, describing her husband as weird, sharing a private correspondence with Charlie just to hurt her. And then she wrote this about her fiance. She wrote, also, I'm so sorry to the boyfriend, now fiance, for catching strays here, but you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. The truth has to come out. Yeah, she's turning.
This lady seems crazy. What the fuck?
It's annoying. It barks nonstop. It bites at everyone's ankles. It's best ignored because the bark is kind of inconsequential. But occasionally, you really should punt the Chihuahua for 50 yards. And for years, Alex has enjoyed lecturing and judging women and men, discussing how there needs to be a return to masculinity, how men are wimpy, how men are not strong, how they need to be pressured to be more tough and more masculine, and there are too many beta boys. Take a listen.
If we are wanting women to be more feminine and really lean into their softness and our natural femininity and nurturing nature, then we have to put more pressure on men to be more masculine.
But is there also something to be said that the right guy is going to be so in his masculine that he is not threatened by me?
If you're a man who can't seem to find a feminine,
she looks a little bit masculine to me. That's a hell of a jawline right there.
Woman, ask yourself if you're man enough. We don't need
less that's a jawline.
Masculinity.
That's a jawline. You masculine enough, girl.
Toxic masculinity. We need more.
Literally, biologically, men are less manly. I don't think it's a coincidence that we have these vegan, soy, liberal guys.
I don't think she knows what a manly man is.
And leading. I think all of that in masculinity is connected.
So I'm hearing masculine themes. I'm hearing boldness. I'm hearing be the alpha as much as you can.
So
Like lead.
we need more masculine men.
So yesterday, the internet rightfully enjoyed themselves when they learned that she was engaged to a man 7 years her junior, who no person in their right mind would accuse of being masculine. A man named Vance Vogtberg, who runs a health blog where he refers to the readers of his blog as his fellow buttercups. And he consistently drops references to Taylor Swift songs. He's a big Swiftie. And he is without question objectively effeminate. Take a listen.
Hello,
Oh, boy.
I'm Vance Vogtberg, and I was the instructor
Oh boy.
of the beginning fiddle class, so I'm going to play you some tunes I taught. This first one is called Tennessee Waltz. People don't understand that well.
Oh man. Okay.
Oftentimes people come and they're like, they don't understand. They're demanding things. And as an artist, you know, you have to take your time. You have to create art. You can't.
My name is Vance. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm here working for a Christian legal organization called Alliance Defending Freedom, and we call it ADF.
No, is this that lady's husband?
And ADF.
The lady that was just talking about men need to be men?
To live and speak the truth.
Bro.
I have a website, a blog, a worldwide phenomenon. Is what some people call
not a man. No. Look at Candace's face. No.
It's called Running on Butter. And Running on Butter is this movement to appreciate the abundance and
one
the
person
beauty
here.
of
Welcome.
living a healthy life. And I love health. And I love
YouTube is not sending my videos out anywhere in my lives at all. I got one warning for not even doing nothing.
If you avoid seed oils, you're going to be avoiding all the other damaging things. And so that's what I really want to hit home on. I loved my life. I loved my upbringing. We ended with 4 boys, and we were called the 4 little boys. And we just, messed around in the woods. I always talk in the podcast like I'm talking to you guys. And I'm like, no, I disagree. And keep up something because it feels like it's just talking with your siblings. So now it's fun to actually, be implemented within the podcast itself. Nice.
Everything about Alex Clark and Alex Clark's life is fraudulent. There is no substance. There is no truth. And the people that are mocking her are not mocking her for getting engaged. It's because Alex herself is a terrible, cruel human being who has attacked and treated people terribly for years. She's not just some Beyonce, no more than Erica Kirk is just some widow. But we do wish her and Vance health and happiness anyway. But of course, the biggest moment from the Women's Leadership Summit wasn't Alex's engagement announcement, but the now notorious video of Charlie appointing Erica to the position of CEO and chairman of the company, the video that we have been begging for, keeping a countdown for, which Turning Point has been squirming about for some unknown reason. To remind you, Erica introduced this video to the public conscience herself back in November of 2025 in an interview with Megyn Kelly, claiming that Charlie named her as a CEO at a private event just 3 weeks before his death. Guess he wasn't smart enough to put it in his paperwork. The reason she mentioned the alleged video was obvious. It was to detract people from asking reasonable questions, like why on earth would she take on such an incredibly demanding position right at the moment that her children needed her the most following her husband's assassination. And also, people remembered, didn't Charlie specifically speak against women taking on such a career repeatedly?
Constantly.
Here's a supercut of Charlie's position on women climbing the corporate ladder. And I want you to keep in mind that he's referring to women who would theoretically have living husbands who could support them. So not widows at all. But take a listen to his perspective that they're now gaslighting us over.
I think that we've gone wrong here, that women should prioritize family and children way above career, that they should try to find their husband before they're 25.
We're homeschooling our kids. We should make it where the husband or the breadwinner, which should be the husband in a typical biblical context, where he can make enough money so the mom can stay home and homeschool the kids if they choose. Having children,
100% agree.
and having a family and getting married will have a much larger and more positive impact on you and our nation than becoming a partner at some law firm. That's not very fulfilling. In fact,
I 100% agree with him. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys agree with him or not.
Don't pursue
Keep it light,
that
keep it fun.
if you think that's going to give you happiness. You will be a miserable, unmarried 33-year-old woman. Let me
the
say that
internet.
again. You will be a miserable, unmarried 33-year-old woman if you go pursue corporate...
That's true.
I'm going to go climb the corporate
100%.
ladder.
Would you be able to give me some advice as somebody who so badly wants to succeed in surgery, but to get out of residency fellowship, I'm going to be 30 before I can really focus on myself. So what's some advice for really balancing my career as well as venturing into settling down?
You're going to have to choose which one matters more, and that will be up to you. So first of all, thank you for being involved with Turning Point USA. So here's my piece of advice. Go try to spend a couple days with babies, and if it doesn't move you to want to have some of your own, then go do the surgeon thing. I mean that. If you don't
Solid
have
advice.
fever being around young kids as a young lady, then you kind of have your answer. But if you're around a young child or a young baby, or like all of a sudden something greater than yourself gets activated, or all of a sudden you feel maybe a prodding by the Holy Spirit, then you got something to think about. But look, you could potentially do both. You could become an orthopedic surgeon and still do that. But there will be a lot of people that says, oh, just put the family thing on hold and put that on hold. I just want to caution you, a reality is that there are a lot of successful 35-year-old orthopedic surgeons that have cats and not kids. And they're very miserable. The study shows that married women with kids are the happiest. Why do you think that is? I mean, it's just nature. I mean, just becoming a CEO of a shoe company is not going to give you happiness.
Women have it so mixed up. You can have a career after children, but if you try to have a career while you have your kids, there is no such thing as balance. Okay. That is such a myth. I can't spend half of the day doing one thing. I missed out half of that time with being with the kids.
But of course, all of that changed the moment that Charlie was assassinated. Suddenly, we were being told that they could have it all. She was on stage describing how women could absolutely have it all. Her mother had it all. She was raised by a strong woman who did everything. Even though she had a father and she had a stepfather in her life, she presented it as if she was raised like an orphan. So yes, the obvious point of her bringing up the video was to dissuade people from asking questions, presenting it as Charlie's dying wish. Does it really matter if it's Charlie's dying wish for her to take over? He just wasn't smart enough to put it in his will. Who could deny the dying wish of any person? And it's also important to remember that they at first said that they didn't want to release the video because people would say, but it was AI. What a remarkably odd and very specific thing to say, okay? No one had ever accused Turning Point USA of creating AI videos of Charlie prior to. They were obviously releasing videos of Charlie nonstop. No one said, hey, wait a minute, these are AI. So the question became, why would they say that specific video would be received as AI? It was almost as though Blake Neff knew something that the rest of us didn't. Turning Point neglecting to share something personal from Charlie, not their usual bit, right? Weird. Turning Point 2.0 has been shamelessly whoring out every bit of Charlie's life and death. Literally, they put the actual bloody microphone that he was holding when he died in a glass encasement.
I've seen this.
For donors to ooh and ah at.
Bro, this is insane to me.
At their annual fundraising event at Mar-a-Lago. They then transported that mic to AmFest and captured Erica
I don't know who the fuck that's for.
Upon it, sullen. Oh, ooh, ah, here it is.
That's kind of insane to me, to be honest with you. Like, here's the mic with his blood on it. He died holding it. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck kind of symbolism is this? Who is this for? I don't understand it. Please comment down below and let me know what you guys think about it.
Final thing he held. They also had the recreated, of course, tent that he died under, so people could.
He died speaking into this mic.
Also, recently included a personal letter that Charlie wrote.
He died for speaking.
Email. But now they suddenly want us to believe
here's the mic.
Video
What the
Charlie
fuck?
Named her as his successor.
That's kind of insane to me.
An emotional bridge too far. The public would never.
But who the fuck am I?
It.
Some jackass.
They would say it was AI. Then they moved to do something even stranger. As public pressure began to mount, someone decided that it was a good idea to collude with the Daily Mail. Rather than just releasing the video in its entire context, they decided to exclusively show it to some reporters over at the Daily Mail who would in turn act as the arbiter of truth, I suppose. They would watch on our behalf and declare that the video was real and true and the public would move on. But they made a mistake there because they told the Daily Mail reporters that the reason that they did not want to release it was, simply put, they lied and claimed that it was to protect the donors. Now, I knew that made zero sense because the video in question did not have the donors' faces on it. Charlie, for the entirety of the event, had a camera pointed on him on stage that was not pivoting through the audience. So the excuse was absolute crap, okay? Donors present say it never happened. As a rule, high-income donors always want to be protected. They don't ever want their faces to be recorded at a private summit or otherwise asking questions. So we've just been biding our time because donors and Turning Point employees who were present all remember the question being asked, but they remember Charlie answering and saying that the board would figure it out. And also sharing some sentiment about Steve Jobs, which Erica confirmed, and how he trusted his lieutenants to figure it out. And they said that he was being pressured and they wanted to get more of a response. And I want to be clear, I have asked people who were there, who are fans of Erica, whether they remember this, and they say no. They say no. They believe that this clip has been doctored from different points at the event. Now, I have had Charlie's final presentation in Aspen, where he carefully lays out his vision for the company, which he thought that he would be alive to see grow, his company. For some time, Erica was not present in the room, so much for knowing everything and being involved. She was in Aspen, but she was not present in the room. And throughout that entire presentation, there was only one mention of Erica in his entire vision, that she helps out with Turning Point Faith, which is not exactly a credit to Erica Kirk. Take a listen.
You look at this roster, these are people that you want to spend time with. They're fun, they're well put together. You contrast that with what the left is presenting with his just, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yes, partnering with the most influential voices from Girls Gone Bible to Maddie Pruitt, to Bryce Crawford, Cliff Connectley, Lucas Miles. Of course, my wife, Erica Kirk, is very involved in the faith division. Ross Johnson, Sage Steele, George Janko. You kind of see it's diverse, it's young, it's fun, it's different.
Yes, Erica Kirk speaks at Turning Point Faith events. That's obviously what he meant when he was naming all these people who speak at Turning Point Faith events. Throughout his presentation, if there's anyone that you would have taken away that he maybe thought could take over Turning Point USA, it would have been Tyler Boyer, who is to his left and who he calls out repeatedly throughout this presentation. And so when they then moved to present this clip of Charlie, suddenly I guess they lied to the Daily Mail and they could show it without the donor, purporting that it was real and that he was handing over the reins to Erica. I just grew suspicious. And just look at the manner in which how they presented it, again, as her walkout music. They just cannot give us this clip in its full context. It's very clearly cut and chopped. Was he saying this about something else? Nobody knows.
Whoops, sorry.
Here it is.
Still learning this stuff. Hit that subscribe for me, though.
Your life is the one that you have with your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. His passion was my passion, and now his mission is my mission.
I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erica would do a great job.
So I will say definitively that I believe that this clip is doctored. Who's he looking at? Erica's not in the audience. I appoint my wife. Erica will do a great job. But rather than to speculate, I decided, let's just contact Turning Point USA with really just two easy questions. Then I kind of wanted a confirmation because I've realized Turning Point themselves never claimed that the footage was not doctored. They never made that claim. And that's important. I want them to say whether or not this was doctored. Here is what I wrote to them, an email. I wrote, hope you're well. We're seeking comment on 2 questions. Deadline is tomorrow by 4 p.m. I meant to say on a confirmation on the 3rd, but I only said comment on 2 questions. There was a video circulating online from your WLS event during which Charlie Kirk seemingly appoints Erica to run Turning Point USA in his absence. Can you confirm that the video shared is entirely authentic? It has not been doctored in any way. A simple yes or no will suffice. In the video, is the video shared within its proper context, meaning Charlie was not speaking in jest? And then the 3rd, I just wrote, we have confirmed that these are her donors' names, and like, do you dispute this? And whatever. So anyway, we got a response from not anyone at Turning Point USA, but rather the TPUSA X feed. Now, I'll tell you why this is significant. I messaged Andrew Colvett, I messaged Justin Strife, and I messaged the lawyer that they used to answer questions. These are, top brass, so to speak, at Turning Point USA who could give an official response. The last time somebody on X, who runs the TPUSA account, said something about Thomas Massey, Andrew Colvett made a phone call and said, oh, we don't run our TPUSA account. An intern runs that. If you can find this online, the back forth between Thomas Massey. That wasn't Turning Point USA. That account isn't run by anybody who's at the exec level, and we apologize for that. So it's weird that they chose to reply by not replying about whether or not it was doctored on X, right at the beginning of the show, here is what they wrote. They wrote, "Hey Candace, the video is real, as you apparently have known for 7 months. I'm not saying the video itself is not real. When people were online were saying this is not from Aspen, I never said that, I never confirmed that. Charlie wasn't kidding. Your obsession is unhinged. Hope that takes care of your show prep for the next couple of weeks. Welcome back to the greatest country on the planet. P.S. That's 3 questions, Conrad, onward," with the little flag. So they have my last question. We are aware of the donors who asked the question in the Aspen event with their names. As we intend to go out to them seeking comment, do you in any way dispute that these were the donors involved? And meant to write 2 questions and a confirmation, but I guess they got me. Onward, comrade. This all registers to me as BS, and it is why I think it's important for us. I believe that this video was doctored, and I believe they know it's doctored. I think it's why they do not want to drop the video in its proper context, and I want to be able to share it because AI tools could have been used to doctor that footage. We're waiting for them to respond that it's okay for us to publish the entirety of the Aspen video, and hopefully we can get them to respond to the email. So I will follow up when we get off air and say, "Hi, we saw this tweet from the account that you allege you guys don't run. Is this an intern or is this an official response from a spokesperson at Turning Point USA?" Andrew Colbert is on X. He can reply to this. Andrew Colbert is the official spokesperson of Turning Point USA, okay? Why is he not just replying to this and saying, this is not doctored and here is the entire video in its context? Why is Turning Point being so weird about this video, which hands them the tools? It's a slam dunk. Charlie wanted this. It's not doctored. Here's what he said in its entirety. What is the barrier to entry here for this video? Again, based off of everything that I have seen, and they could of course say this was cut out, we don't know, I believe the video is doctored. That is my take. I do think it's very strange that they entered into relationships with all these AI companies following his death who specialize in making after-death videos. And it would just be nice to have a clean response from a spokesperson at Turning Point USA that the video, which is heavily edited, is not in any way doctored. And to hear Charlie in his full context, this is not a big deal. That's what we're asking for. Anyway, we'll be right back after a quick break.
Yeah, I want to see
You
it.
guys, Paleo Valley is still with us. It's the one snack that you'll always find in my bag, Paleo Valley beef sticks, whether I'm running
Candace, we
between
can't have
meetings,
commercials on
traveling,
my
heading
channel.
to the Kids Act about American financing. Hold on. There are America's home for home loans. Well, apparently you guys are all Russian bots now. I mean, last week you were Iranian bots. You guys have been botting really well and just kind of changing. You were Pakistani bots. Now you're back to being Russian bots. We're all over the map. And I do hope that you guys take me seriously and that you go to Russia because you can and it's legal and it's very important. I feel like so much of my life there's just another veil that gets pierced, like something I think is right and then I realize, oh my gosh, no, like we have been kept in the dark about various things and Russia is a huge piece of it. Like I said, my experience with Russia.
I don't know what's going on in Russia, but they must not like Journey over there. I was trying to play a song one time and it got blocked in Russia.
Was actually
funny.
Physical. And I really want to go back, and I wish I could just.
How you gonna block Journey, Russia, for real? Small town girl?
That is missing. To be able to touch, as I was in one of those photos, like a Bible that old, it's just incredible. And we know that the Maxwell class, Robert Maxwell, they got busy publishing, taking a bunch of Russian books and translating them for the West. And starting our school system books and getting behind the publishing. That's what they were doing in the Russian Empire. They were pamphleteering. Publishing was their obsession.
Oh, no.
Constantly trying to rewrite history as an ever-present. So to get your hands on history untouched and to be able to assess it yourself is really important. Does that make Russia a perfect country? Obviously not. There are no perfect countries. But we know that our country is in a state of decline, and it is in large part due to our relationship with Israel. And that is just a fact. And I'm not changing my opinion on that. Anyways, the last episode, I think, was our interview with Anna Kasparian. You guys absolutely loved that. I'm so glad you did. It was just a great conversation. She was very chill. I feel like if Anna Kasparian lived in the same city as me, we would be friends. And I feel like I could bring her over to my side on issues that we disagree on. I really do. I think I could convince her on the topics that we disagree on.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't believe in censorship. Here are the top comments from that interview. Coffee Break writes, no more left or right in 2026. It is good versus evil. Planting Gemstones writes, Candace is going to make people's heads explode with these interviews. I am here for it. I'm trying to get Vladimir Putin to notice me. Like I said, Tucker upstages me all the time. He's just more well known. Probably because he worked for Fox News for a long time or something. I was like name dropping Tucker Carlson, by the way. I'm not above it. I was like, oh yeah, you know my boy Tucker. Like he was at this grocery store last week. He's like really close with me. He loves me. He's great. Didn't work, but I'm gonna make it happen. Me and Vlad, gotta happen. Absolutely. One day that thumbnail will be real. Comments from today's episode: Two-Tone
That thumbnail got me, I'm be real.
writes, if France's president read Make Him a Sandwich, would he fix
I
the
was like,
first dude
bet.
roast beef on a hard roll with extra mayonnaise? By the way, regarding France's president, I had no idea how viral the series went, Becoming Brigitte, in Russia. When I was doing interviews after I did my panel, there were so many questions about the series, and I was like, my goodness, I had no idea that so many of you guys watched it. And they were saying, we watch your show all the time, we're afraid to comment because we know that America has that whole Russian conspiracy that's always floating at all times, and we didn't want to help you. If you're Russian, you can comment on my show. If you're from any country, anywhere, you can comment on my show. Got to speak to some ambassadors from African countries as well, which was really fun just to be in the room and to speak in a place that people want to hear your voice, and it's okay if you disagree, which is so weird that I'm saying this about Russia and not my own country, where people are left and right getting fired and censored and losing real opportunities because they don't agree with what AIPAC is doing. Completely crazy. It's just, like I said, though, you will know these commies by their fruits. Jess Happy writes, welcome back. You are glowing and your battle bun is fire. Can we get a tumbler or a mug with Benny tears on it and a tiny horse? Bless you, Candace. We do have to sell Tiny Horse and Benny. Oh, he would sue me, of course. That's what he does the whole time.
Of course he would.
And Jess ends this by saying, our VA system has failed our heroes. Yeah, I always knew that, but I had never experienced that. And it changed me. I feel like there's just more that needs to be done with that in general. I don't know how to help other than to share stories, and that was the only thing I felt like I could do. When I was hugging his wife, I was just like, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know what they went through, and diagnosing them with mental issues when they're telling you that they have physical ailments from what they have lived through, sacrificing their bodies. Can you imagine what they would do if they could get these boys to Iran? You're just fodder. That's all you are. You are cannon fodder. You are to die for Israel. Israel's greatness. Maybe they want to go back to having stab at Russia. I don't know. Perwin writes, if you were CEO of a large organization, you'd never put your wife in that position. Maybe if you hated her, but it doesn't happen. When we die, everything is arranged so loved ones are handled by capable people. Most CEOs would appoint them. Absolutely. And so everyone who's there saying that what Charlie said was, I trust the board, that's a logical Charlie expression. That's what he represented in all of his interviews when he discussed women, when he spoke to feminists, when he told women not to replace their career or to think that they could do it both. The true representation of what Charlie would have said is the board will figure it out. So did they doctor some offhanded joke? Did he say Erica was great about something else when he looks forward? Was somebody
One
saying
person
something?
here. Who is it? Can you say hello?
Just AI. Just drop it in its full
Gotta
context.
be a subscriber because my shit does not get pushed out.
I'm waiting, by the way. I'm going to tell you guys who the donors are, and I want to share the full video.
Wherever you are, God bless you. Thanks for hanging out.
I've reached out to the donors, hoping they can just respond. That's an easy out, too. Like, forget the executives Turning Point USA. They're all a bunch of
Not even
slobs.
joking. It should be lonely if it just says 000.
That's fully in its context. That'd be like, chill. I'd be like, I don't think a donor would put their name and lie like that. That's why I believe the donors said it didn't happen. Right? These people have nothing to gain. These people are billionaires and multimillionaires. Why would they just lie and say, yeah, no, Charlie totally said that and he was being real and honest and it's what he wanted? I don't think they would lie. So I'm trying to give that person who I texted and they got the text message another day to think about it. I'm sure they're watching today's episode to just respond to me and say, Candace, that's exactly how it happened. That was the true emotion. This is what Charlie wanted. There was Turning Point didn't doctor anything. It'd be great. It'd be great. Harvard Hills writes, the Museum of Russian Icons in Clinton, Massachusetts has the largest collection of icons outside of Russia. Please come visit. I did not know that. Ali writes, Zionists demand weapons for Israel, yet they have the nerve to call you a foreign agent. The irony is overwhelming. I don't recall you advocating to send weapons to Russia. You are promoting peace over the CIA plans for World War III. Yes, it is important for you guys to read the speeches of our enemies in their entirety. Like I said, because things literally get lost in not translation, not having the ability to understand their language, it allows the media to do that, to just be rampant and just say, Russia is endemically anti-Semitic. It's like, no, how about you're not allowed to murder czars. I feel like that's kind of fair. Like, I don't want to live with people that do that and plot terrorism. So if there was a reaction to you murdering someone, you don't get to scream anti-Semitism. I don't know. Am I totally off the mark here? Petal writes, thanks a lot, Candace. My husband has now been referring to me as my bride ever since your interview with the wackadoo Victor Marks. It creeps me out. My bride. Victor Marks, man, Greg Laurie, Erica Kirk, they're all creepy. They're all weird. And there's not enough press in the world that can change that. I forgot to tell you guys, speaking of Erica Kirk, the White House has gotten back to us with our FOIA requests, and they're like, we need you to slim it down. What do you mean emails that have the word Erica Kirk in it across 3 days? So we went back to them yesterday, and with just, even more constraint. Okay, we specifically want this. Please let us know if emails were sent out about Erica Kirk at the White House shooting, the Correspondence Center shooting. Obviously, I told you guys the truth. That was real. She's considered an emotional asset, and that it looks like the Department of War was who was involved with these emails. We're still on that. We are chasing every single lead. These things really do take time, and also a lot of phone calls with my lawyers. Just a lot of legal phone calls. Can I drop this video? Or are they going to come after me for dropping this Aspen video in its entirety? That's going on right now in the background as well. That's why I just want Turning Point to say, yes, it's fine, or they just say they'll drop it themselves so that people who know AI tools can assess it better. Anyway, we'll have more for you guys tomorrow. If you want to support our show, since we are not funded
yeah,
by
I'm out
Russia,
for the night too. Whoever's in here, thank you so much for being here. I fucking love you.
You can just buy
I'll be back
merch.
with more.
I've supported entirely by the people. CandaceOwens.com, a lot of new stuff coming. Oh, we got
And for whoever else that sees this video, definitely comment down below. I will be getting back to the most of you.
Amazing! This just dropped.
I ain't got shit to do.
6 million. We also have our Candace mug. We decided for 6 million, we have to demand that they stop anti-Candacism. It's an ill. It's a hate that mutates. I've seen it go on for a long time. It's really sad. The commentators saying things about me. The widow. Coming after me. The widow. It really hurts.
I'm out, guys. Have a good night or a good day whenever you guys watch this. Freaking love you guys. Hit that